John Dillinger was born on June 22, 1903, in Indianapolis, Indiana. The city, bustling with the energy of the early 20th century, was a place of both opportunity and hardship. It was here that Dillinger's story began, in a time when America was rapidly changing. His upbringing was a mix of strict discipline and relative normalcy. His father, a stern man, believed in the value of hard work and discipline, often enforcing strict rules in the household. Meanwhile, his mother, a gentle and devout woman, tried to instill religious values and a sense of morality in young John. His father was a hard-working grocer, toiling long hours to provide for the family. The grocery store was a central part of their lives, a place where John would often help out. His mother, on the other hand, was the moral compass of the family, ensuring that religious teachings were a part of their daily routine. However, young John showed signs of rebelliousness from an early age. Despite his mother's best efforts, he often resisted authority and sought out his own path. This defiance was evident in his frequent truancy and mischievous behavior. He often skipped school and engaged in petty theft. These early acts of rebellion were more than just childhood mischief. They were the first signs of a deeper discontent and a desire to challenge the status quo. As Dillinger grew older, his rebellious streak intensified. The small acts of defiance in his youth evolved into more serious delinquent activities. He became known in his neighborhood as a troublemaker, someone who was always looking for the next thrill. He dropped out of school and took on odd jobs. But his interest in a straight life waned. The monotony of regular work did not appeal to him, and he found it difficult to stay committed to any job for long. The allure of quick money and the thrill of defying authority proved far more appealing. Dillinger was drawn to the excitement and danger of a life outside the law, where the rules were made to be broken. Dillinger's life was about to take a dark turn, leading him down a path of crime and notoriety. The choices he made in his youth set the stage for a life that would be marked by infamy and conflict with the law. The early 1920s saw Dillinger enlist in the US Navy. This decision was perhaps an attempt to find structure and purpose, a way to escape the troubles of his past. He quickly found himself in trouble. The rigid discipline of military life clashed with his rebellious nature, and he struggled to conform to the expectations placed upon him. His inability to conform to the rigid discipline of military life led to his dishonorable discharge. This was a significant blow, as it marked another failure in his attempt to lead a conventional life. Returning to civilian life with few prospects, Dillinger fell back into his old habits. The structure and discipline of the Navy had not changed him. Instead, it seemed to have reinforced his desire to rebel. The seeds of a life of crime had been sown. With limited options and a growing disdain for authority, Dillinger's path was set. He would soon become one of the most notorious criminals in American history, a symbol of rebellion and defiance. In 1924, John Dillinger's life took a decisive turn towards a life of crime. Born in Indianapolis, Indiana, Dillinger had a relatively unremarkable childhood. However, the allure of quick money and the thrill of rebellion began to take hold of him as he grew older. He participated in the armed robbery of a grocery store, his first major offense. This was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. Dillinger had been contemplating a life of crime for some time. The robbery, however, was poorly planned and executed, a testament to his inexperience. The botched robbery resulted in Dillinger's arrest and subsequent conviction. The legal system, unforgiving and swift, sentenced him to a lengthy prison term at the Indiana State Prison. This was a pivotal moment in Dillinger's life, marking the beginning of his deep entanglement with the law. He was sentenced to a lengthy prison term at the Indiana State Prison. The prison, a foreboding structure, was known for its harsh conditions and strict routines. For Dillinger, this was a harsh reality check, a stark contrast to the freedom he once knew. Prison life proved to be a harsh reality check for Dillinger. The daily grind of confinement, the monotonous routines, and the constant surveillance wore on him. Yet, it was within these walls that Dillinger's criminal education truly began. The confinement and strict routine wore on him. The prison environment, though oppressive, became a breeding ground for criminal knowledge. Dillinger, ever the opportunist, began to absorb the lessons offered by his fellow inmates. Yet it was within the prison walls that Dillinger's criminal education truly began. He befriended seasoned criminals who shared their knowledge of bank robbing, firearms, and evading law enforcement. These interactions were not mere casual conversations. They were Detailed tutorials on the art of crime, he befriended seasoned criminals who shared their knowledge of bank robbing, firearms, and evading law enforcement. These men, hardened by their own experiences, saw potential in Dillinger and took him under their wing. They taught him the intricacies of planning a heist, the importance of timing, and the necessity of having an escape plan. During his time in prison, Dillinger became more hardened and determined. The once naive young man was now a calculating individual, intent on mastering the criminal arts. He spent hours strategizing, learning from the mistakes of his past and the wisdom of his new mentors. He vowed to never return to confinement. This vow was not just a fleeting thought, but a driving force that fueled his every action. Dillinger meticulously planned his future criminal endeavors, ensuring that he would never be caught off guard again. He meticulously planned his future criminal endeavors, learning from the mistakes of his past. Every detail was scrutinized, every possible outcome considered. Dillinger was determined to outsmart the law, to become a master of his craft. The prison, rather than rehabilitating him, had inadvertently molded him into a more formidable criminal. The lessons he learned, the connections he made, and the resolve he built would all contribute to his future infamy. Dillinger's first brush with the law was not just a setback, it was the beginning of his transformation into one of America's most notorious criminals. Life in prison was Dillinger's crucible. He learned the skills and tactics that would shape his criminal career. He honed his skills as a getaway driver, studied police procedures, and mastered the art of using firearms. Each day behind bars fueled his desire for revenge against the society that had imprisoned him. Dillinger's time in prison coincided with the rise of organized crime in America. He witnessed firsthand the power and influence of notorious gangsters like Al Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly. These figures became his anti-heroes, their exploits fueling his own criminal ambitions. The lessons learned in prison extended beyond practical skills. Dillinger absorbed the unwritten code of the criminal underworld, a code of loyalty, ruthlessness, and a disdain for authority. He emerged from prison a changed man, ready to make his mark on the outside world, no matter the cost. Released from prison in 1933, John Dillinger wasted no time putting his newly acquired skills to use. He had spent his time behind bars learning from seasoned criminals, and he was ready to make his mark on the world. Dillinger quickly assembled a gang of hardened criminals, including Harry Pierpont, Russell Clark, and Homer Van Meter. These men were not just petty thieves. They were experienced and ruthless, each bringing their own unique skills to the table. Together, they embarked on a crime spree that terrorized the Midwest. Their operations were meticulously planned, and their execution was flawless. They moved with the precision of a military unit, striking fear into the hearts of their victims. The Dillinger gang's modus operandi was swift and audacious. They targeted banks, often striking multiple times in a single day. Their robberies were marked by meticulous planning, military precision, and a brazen disregard for the law. The gang's ability to evade capture only added to their legend. They used fast cars, cunning disguises, and inside information to stay one step ahead of the law. Their heists were not just about the money, they were about making a statement. Dillinger's charm and charisma, coupled with his gang's ruthlessness, made them a formidable force. He had a way of winning people over, even as he was robbing them. His ability to connect with the public was unparalleled. As their notoriety grew, so did the Dillinger gang's legend. Newspapers sensationalized their exploits, portraying Dillinger as a modern-day Robin Hood. The public, grappling with the hardships of the Great Depression, found a perverse fascination in his defiance of authority. Dillinger became a symbol of rebellion, a folk hero to some, even as the body count mounted. His ability to elude capture only added to his mystique. He was a master of escape, slipping through the fingers of law enforcement time and time again. The Dillinger gang's reign of terror was not just about the crimes they committed, it was about the impact they had on society. They challenged the status quo, and in doing so, they became legends. Their story is a testament to the power of charisma, cunning, and audacity. As the gang's exploits continued to make headlines, the public's fascination with Dillinger grew. He was not just a criminal, he was a symbol of resistance against a system that many felt had failed them. His story resonated with people who were struggling to make ends meet. Newspapers played a significant role in shaping Dillinger's image. They portrayed him as a daring outlaw, a man who took what he wanted and lived by his own rules. This romanticized image only added to his allure, making him a hero to some and a villain to others. The public's fascination with Dillinger was a reflection of the times. The Great Depression had left many feeling disillusioned and desperate. In Dillinger, they saw someone who was willing to stand up to authority, someone who refused to be beaten down by the system. Dillinger's story is a complex one, filled with contradictions. He was a criminal, but he was also a symbol of hope for some. His reign of terror may have been short-lived, but its impact was profound. The legend of John Dillinger endures to this day, a testament to the enduring power of charisma and rebellion.